Welcome in, everyone. It has certainly been a basketball-filled weekend, so why not have a good old-fashioned college hoop roundup, starting with our LA Tech Dunkin' Dogs. And everyone knows each game has its own theme. And the story for Saturday's win over Sam Houston State, well, it was about as evenly matched a conference game can get. So then the question became, well, who's going to flinch first? One of the tall tats on Saturday's agenda would be slowing down Lamar Wilkinson, the dynamic scoring guard for the Bearcats. Amari Abram had the honor of holding that matchup, but also had to make sure not to let that affect his offensive performance. And with playing over 40 minutes and adding 16 points to his tally, I think the consensus would say he held his end of the bargain.
I thought it was his best game this year. Both sides of the ball. Usually when he's locked in guarding, it's so hard for him to get his legs under him to score. But I think it's becoming normal. I think it's because he's building up the stamina to do it. And listen, Wilkinson is an unbelievable player. You're not going to stop him from scoring. He's too big. He's too good. He shoots the ball too well. But I thought Amari did an unbelievable job to just maintain his presence in Wilkinson's space all night. And I say that because late in the game, they kept trying to go to Hufner. And I felt like it was too hard to get something for Wilkinson late in the game. And so I was appreciative of Amari for that. And then, I just believe that shooters are going to start making shots after a while. So we just called a play for him. He was huge and hit a big three in overtime to tie the game so we could take the lead.
Just knowing he's a great player, he averaged like 18 points. Coach Caven did a great scout, and we just followed it to the T, and I guarded him the best way I can.
Once things hit overtime, the game then was all about who could outlast the other, and the Dogs were the ones that prevailed in making it to the finish line first.
And I'm going to give a lot of credit to Jordan Crawford. Right, he comes in the game, he's a plus 15. We put him at the 4. We knew that he was going to give about 4 inches to Hufner down low, and we said, you're just going to have to fight him. And we thought he was more athletic so he could rebound with him. We didn't think that'd be a problem, but we knew fighting in the post would be an issue. But we got some help from Bacho coming over to help him a little bit sometimes. And then he was just gritty and physical and tough. He had 8 rebounds. So I went with a small lineup. If you look at the stat sheet, we had Amari and Sean, and our bench were the only plus guys on the roster. And so I just rolled with a different lineup because at that time it was a gritty, dirty, nasty game. It was just time to find a way to win, and we were just going to find a way to win, and those are the guys I went with.
It's super tough, especially in conference. Everybody's going to give you a best shot. Doesn't matter team record or anything like that. You're going to get everybody's best shot. Everybody scouted you. People on that team we played last year, so they know who we are. So it's extremely tough, but you just got to fight through, and it comes down to the toughest team and following the scouting report.
Well, it is the start of Black History Month, so why not switch gears and go down the road to Lincoln Parish to check in on one of our beloved HBCUs, Grambling State. The first half for the G-men going against Jackson State saw a lot of promise, but it is hard to say that the team that walked into the locker room was the same squad that walked out at halftime. Shooting the ball at an 18% clip and just 7% from deep pinned the G-men to a wall they just couldn't get off of. Jackson State, on the other hand, had their way in the paint. 36 points around the rim and a 20-point night from Deshaun Ruffin that left the G-men looking for answers to no avail, dropping their 5th conference game this year. No time for the weary, though. They will be back in action on Monday to take on Alcorn State. Switching over to the Lady Tigers now, they saw a rough going on their end of Lincoln Parish as well, going up against Jackson State, where the better set of Tigers just seemed like it was the ones coming out of Mississippi. Courtney Simmons and her crew was unable to get a flow going offensively, with the outside shot just seeming like it was non-existent, and Jackson State practically getting whatever they wanted, owning the glass with a plus 16 margin. But also, if you're Grambling State, you have to point the finger at yourselves, forcing Jackson State into 31 turnovers and just not fully capitalizing on it. If you're Jackson State, though, you did everything you were supposed to do, beating a red-hot squad on the road, shooting over 40% from three-point land, and operating in the half court to perfection. The Grambling State Lady Tigers will definitely feel this loss, but they don't have time. They have to move on quickly because now they will be going on a 2-game road trip to my home state, Sweet Home, Alabama, where they will be taking on Alabama A&M and then Alabama State. That's a wrap for now. Stay tuned after the break.